It's a beautiful morning in Salt Lake City, and you're watching The Show, The Extra Point, presented by UteFans.net and sponsored by Public Coffee. Come to any Public Coffee location today to try their amazing coffee. We have a big game yesterday against Oregon State, and Utah shows up and takes care of business. First impressions of the game, Mr. Jordan Wynn.
Yeah, I mean, it was a win in a pretty dominant fashion. I don't think you'll ever see a box score so lopsided versus the actual score. Oregon State actually outgained them in total yards and rushing yards, which is pretty unique. But you take a step back and look at what happened. 4 interceptions. 1 ran back for a touchdown. Clark Phillips, huge day with 3 interceptions. 2 of them, he basically ran the route for the receiver. And made a play. I mean, that's just film study. Like we talked about it last week when he had this interception last week. The guy just continues to show why he's a future first rounder.
He's playing big boy ball against kids.
Gosh. Oh my God! I mean, he's doing things that just normally with top corners they don't have statistics, right? Because they just don't get thrown on. Like, stay away from that guy. Oregon State, for whatever reason, decided to test him, and look what happened. You don't want to do that.
You play with fire, you get burned.
100%.
He had, 6-7 targets, 2 picks, 1 for 6, and every single one of his picks highlighted his ability to play at the next level now.
Yep.
Reading routes, anticipating the break, his pre-snap reads of the line and the quarterback to the routes, in being inside and in breaking in front, taking the ball out of the receiver's hands, and that last one in the corner of the end zone when he jumped up and turned his body. A lot of DBs are afraid to look for the ball in that situation because as they look, they're afraid the ball's going to fall behind.
They lose it, right? You never want to look until you're in such good position,
but
right?
Not him.
Yep.
He decided, I will not wait. I will create my opportunities, and he took over that game with every opportunity he could.
You talk even just making the actual play, right? It's one thing to study it on film, jump the route, but the guy's got hands. Like the saying is oh, you don't have hands, go play corner. That's not true with him. The guy's a complete all-around. I mean, he has everything, and he'll be playing on Sundays, and Utah's fortunate to have him. So, but overall, 42-16 at home. Oregon State's a good football team.
Absolutely,
they really are, and so to go out and do that, I think again the team continues to trend in the right direction.
Absolutely, and Clark Phillips, no question, player of the game. I mean, that was otherworldly. He was unbelievable on the field yesterday. Oregon State is good.
They're a good team. They are.
I have to throw some love to Oregon State here because they have a lot of talent. There was that one running play. I think it was a screen pass they had that went over 50 yards. And I thought, oh, boy, they're in the red zone again. Here we go. It's going to be a tough game. And I just have to, throw some love to Oregon State because they've had some big ups and downs, and they're trying to build this program again. But, yeah, they're talented. And we have to say that also their starting quarterback went out with a neck strain yesterday. So he didn't play most of the game. So, obviously Utah was overpowering when it came down to it. But Oregon State's got a bright future, I think, And also, for me, I just have to throw some love here. Play of the game, for me anyway, it's R.J. Hubert. 70-yard pick.
Yeah, for you.
Well,
I would agree. I would agree. Look at where the game was at there. The situation.
So I'm going to try and just make a case for myself before Cal Beck comes into the picture here.
Go on ahead.
I just think there's more to that for me than just the play, and obviously we talked about that before we started filming. But you look at how that changed the momentum of the game and how they were in the red zone, poised to score. Cal still thinks he's right, but
I didn't say.
But R.J. Hubert. I just like to say, one of the things that's so important to us here, obviously you guys know about having injuries, as
I know
college
too
athletes.
much about it.
Yeah, you do. We both have experience with that. And, R.J. Hubert started in the program in 2018. He's had 2 season-ending injuries since then. And he came back, and he's really a big contributor. And he looks great. And that to me, changed the momentum in the game and ultimately led to us, piling on the points and winning. But it seems like Cal...
How can you argue with that? It would have been 28-23 if they scored there.
It would have been a one-score game.
Maybe 28-24, you go for 2,
Even a broken clock is correct twice a day. I'm not taking anything away from the player. It was epic. He caught it. He ran like the wind. But he was the robber in the zone.
He was.
He sat in the middle of the field. He did not backpedal. He stared at the quarterback. He knew he was going to throw that skinny post, and he robbed it. He did his job. It was efficient. It was effective, and it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
That's my bit.
Lesson learned, young QBs.
That's fair.
Use your eyes.
So,
And that's what
be good with your eyes.
That's what doomed on the 3 picks of Phillips.
Yep.
Phillips read the QB's first
good with
read in
your
his
eyes.
drop, and he immediately attacked the
Got to
run.
be good with your eyes at quarterback.
But we produced. I mean, it was a close game. We said Oregon State, they looked pretty good. We were all nervous. There were some nervous stomachs here in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
After we watched Oregon State take USC to the wire up in Corvallis.
Well, even they go 7-7. They run a reverse to tie the game. I mean, that's again, Oregon State, in my mind at least, is almost similarly built to us here, in that they know their identity with Jonathan Smith. The guy's an incredible coach. They're going to run their fly sweep offense, a lot of movement, a lot of shifting, but ultimately they want to run the football.
Yeah,
And that's their identity. And honestly, they did a decent. I mean, they ran for 171 yards yesterday. Again, anytime you're -4 in the turnover battle, I think your odds of winning the game are less than 1%.
Right, and we should mention, I mean, going into this game, my thoughts were like, our defense is going to make the difference in this game. That's what I thought was going to happen, and sure enough, that's what happened. Utah wasn't perfect. We had some struggles. Oregon State's defensive line is pretty stout. We didn't run terribly well against them. I think Cam Rising himself had 73 yards rushing, But Cal, what are your thoughts on this stuff as far as like our ineffectiveness in the run game yesterday against Oregon
So
State?
the armchair quarterbacks at home are shifting their focus because they can no longer complain about the slow start.
Yeah.
So the running game is the next thing on the list.
Which is a highlight of ours, but
Yeah.
we got to find something.
Yeah, we've
Of
got
course.
to find
Of course.
The local media need to make their money off of the gripes of the players or the fans of what the shortcomings are. We got off to a fast start. The energy was there. It could have been because more people were in their seats. It's at the start of the game.
Yeah.
It could have been the midday game start. I have no idea. It could have been the UV index. But let's focus on the run game.
Yeah.
Is it as stout? Is it as productive as we are used to? No. Is it a reason to raise a 3 alarm? No.
Yeah, agreed.
We all know the big question mark that's out there that's going on with Thomas.
Yep.
Guess what? I hope we don't figure out what's going on. It's none of our business. It's in-house. Let the team handle it.
Yep.
Let him handle it. Let's stay out of it. We don't need to assume. We don't need to propose. We don't need to connect dots. That's
Yep.
human nature, and it's
Yeah.
what we do. But it never leads to anything positive or good. If people are going to step up, next man up, they'll get the ball in their hands.
Yep.
We saw it last week.
Yep.
I am in no way worried about the offensive production because there's always going to be something to gripe about. I would be very surprised if we end up playing a perfect football game in the near future.
Yeah.
And then what would we gripe about?
Right.
It
We'll
would
find
probably
something.
be third quarter noise or another something
Whatever
that
it
people
may
want
be.
to point. Yeah.
You still look at the rushing average too. The average over 5 yards a carry. That's incredible.
Thank you. Yes,
You're gonna win the
it's
game.
there.
You're gonna win football games.
And with Keithy being out, we don't know the change in the playbook. We don't know if they're trying to establish the run as much. We don't know if they're going to more of the out routes,
Yeah.
which seems to be a popular choice. We don't know, but we can always assume.
I got one question here from probably the Extra Point's biggest fan, Mr. Bryce Beach. Utah's defense was the definition of the bend, don't break. They gave up over 400 yards but had 4 takeaways. Are there concerns with giving up that many yards and facing quarterbacks like USC's Caleb Williams or UCLA's Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who do a great job of taking care of the football?
No, 0. No. Great question. It is a great question because they did give up a lot of yards, but they were on the field more. They kept giving Utah's offense short fields. I don't really see it as a huge concern. And furthermore, I think DTR's played against us quite a few times. The kid's been there forever. But Caleb Williams, coming from the Big 12, both him and Lincoln Riley, they've played in big games. I have no doubt in their ability to handle the big stage. But I will say there's still something to be said about coming into Rice Eccles and facing this defense that they have not seen.
Absolutely.
They have not seen a defense or an atmosphere like this. They haven't been up to the elevation. They haven't seen the amount of pressure we put on the QB.
Which wasn't that much yesterday.
It wasn't, but when you create 4 turnovers, I mean, I'm just like,
But
you
when
know
it
what I
is-
mean? Like
What's the complaint?
Yeah,
again?
exactly.
We
We're
were
kinda-
Sack Lake City, 5
Exactly.
sacks 2 weeks ago.
Right,
Yesterday
right.
we're Pick 6 City.
Right.
Which
So where's
defense-
it's like it's a good question, but I look, both the LA schools are good. I don't think there's any qualms about that. Both quarterbacks are good and playing at a high level. I'm not any more worried than I am about any game against them. I mean, it is what it is. You go out, you defend them, you play your game. again, I still lean on, particularly in 2 weeks. It's a different environment here. It's a different defense. Like the SCs, Lincoln and Caleb have not seen this, and it'll be interesting. I mean, they paid all the money to get the best offense allegedly in the country with the wideout from Pitt and then the back from Oregon. But you can't buy wins.
I'm not.
We're about to find out.
The question: bend, not break.
Yeah.
Defenses are reactive. They do bend. They're supposed to bend. They're not supposed to break. Offenses are brain surgeons. That's a different type of productivity. Stats are relative. We did give them a short end of the field. That's going to affect our offensive productivity because we don't have that far to get into the end zone.
Right.
So in the end all be all scheme of things, our defense is playing extremely well. Are we not? Are we trying to contain the pocket more and get less of a defensive rush because of what we learned from Florida and what we've learned from other quarterbacks having success when we are blitzing? These are things that we can try to speculate and assume till the cows come home. But I know our defense is casting a bigger shadow on the field than my afro does at this point. Because they are the defense that people are expecting to see. Yeah. They are who we thought they were.
They are.
To quote a famous line.
No, I mean, you look at again the game within the game. If you throw in 4th down and 3rd down combined, Oregon State's 4 of 13. You're not going to win football games doing that, and that's a credit to Utah's defense. You're not going to win football games if you turn it over 4 times. That's a credit to Utah's defense. You win the game within the game defensively. It is a good question. Over 400 yards, it doesn't happen too much up here, but my goodness, again, we're trying to find something as a fan base to look at, to dissect. It's like, man, that was in my mind, I was up there, I'm like, another dominant performance.
The biggest adjustment when we came into the Pac-12, and my best friend live in the Pac-12. They're Husky fans in Seattle. And
they're still your best friends?
Oh, yes, absolutely. But it's every week, and this is the way it is with most Power 5 conferences. Every week is a game. Every week can be an upset. Every week will be a contest. There are no rollovers at this point.
100%.
I mean, even Stanford, which 3 years ago were a threat.
Yep.
So it's hard for us to say, the defense is playing well or the defense is lackluster because everybody's coming to bring their A game, especially because we are the ones with the targets on our back.
I also think, too, in the Pac-12, you're seeing such wide-open offenses. This isn't the Big Ten where they line up in 22 personnel. That's 2 tight ends, 2 running backs for you guys listening, and just try to run power down your throat. Mm-hmm. This is wide-open spread. Most offenses are putting up 400 or 500 yards week in and week out, and so I would look at, again, the game within the game and not so much the total stats. The total yards, those kinds of things. Yes, are they, some to look at? Sure, maybe, but you look at the game within the game, situational football, 3rd downs, red zones, turnover battle. You win those, you're going to be successful, and that's all that the game should be judged on. Did you win or not?
Right. Well, and we won the game.
And we won handedly.
We won the game.
Handedly.
Of course,
we won in a fashion that we were allowed to put. We enabled the number 2 quarterback to go in. That's how big of a deficit we were up.
So
you let Bryson get in.
Like we said, Utah comes in, they take care of business. The fact of the matter is, we have a tough contest against Florida and Gainesville. It comes down to the wire, and that's what you can hope for most of the time. Is you have a good showing in an environment like that. Since then, Utah's looking pretty good.
Rolling. I would argue
we're looking
rolling.
Pretty good. We've got a contest coming up against UCLA, which we'll break down in a minute here. But I think Utah looks good, and obviously, nothing. The fans will never be satisfied.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
That's why they're fans.
So, and we know
that's why we love them.
Right. Of course, we know that going into this. But it's a W yesterday. We went 42-16. Yeah. We look great. Not perfect. Yeah. No team's perfect, but we look pretty good. And I think we're going to look pretty good going into the UCLA game next week. So
could I just real quick shout out the point after blessing?
The extra point blessing.
Oh my gosh.
It's real.
Bailey, 7 for 94 and a touchdown. Blessed.
Yeah, that's right. So
talk about that touchdown too. Just dragging that guy. Get that man the ball.
Let's break it down. 94 receiving yards, 7 receptions, 7 receptions, 1 touchdown. Extra point blessing is real.
Oh my God, it's real. I mean, we had him here. The kid is big.
So everyone watching or listening, watch for Jaylon Glover to have a big game next week. And any Ute players watching, come on our show. We'll throw you some good luck. So we'll move on to this next segment. We'll be right back.
Hello, Ute fans. Cal Beck here. And when I'm looking for a great return to excellent food, Public Coffee is Ute fans' choice for the best cup of joe in the state of Utah. Come into any of Public Ed's location for a slice of avocado toast and many delightful delectations to tantalize your taste buds and Ute tummies. Go Utes.
Welcome back to the Extra Point, and we're joined by Mr. Jaylon Two-Piece Glover.
Nice to see you, man.
Jalen, glad to have you on.
Glad to have
Appreciate
you
you
on.
coming on.
Appreciate it.
Two-Piece. So, Jaylon, tell us about that nickname.
Yeah, that's a real common question out here. Definitely. So it was a guy that had a reaction video. He was big, popular back home. It's like a running back academy. So he works with a lot of NFL guys. And he did a reaction video on YouTube. And one of the cuts and moves I made, like a combo I gave somebody in the open field, and he said it was the 2-piece, no biscuit. So I gave him the 2-piece,
love it.
and he ain't touch me, so he ain't get the biscuit with the 2-piece. So it's a Florida slang, but no, it was funny, man. And my auntie, she works with Nike, so we trademarked it. She said it was catchy, so we just went along with it.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That reminds me of the UFC fighter Masvidal. He's got I hit him with the 3-piece and a Coke backstage. I like
Oh,
2-piece. No, that's good. And you got a trademark. That's awesome. What everybody that comes on, we like to ask them. You know, there's so many people that are part of the program that come from different places in the country, and so what ultimately led you to come to Utah? And so far, what's been your favorite thing about being here in the state?
For me, it just felt like, you know, when it came to Utah, it's like God just moved certain stuff out of the way for me. Because originally I was locked in with a couple schools before Utah, and then, you know, it was some coaching changes, or, you know, something just happened to where I didn't choose that school. And when I came out here, it was kind of love at first sight. You know, when I knew my parents liked it. You know,
Goosebumps.
Yeah. Like my goosebump moment was at the Grand, looking out over the city, and
Awesome.
I was just like, yeah, this it. But my thing was, I really neglected because I just didn't really feel like my parents was gonna make every game. But they told me, they was like, well, no
Gotcha.
matter where you go, we're gonna be there, and that just made my decision a little easier, because I wanted them to be able to come, but I didn't want it to be a conflict.
Sure.
And they've been every one.
Yeah.
And I've just coming here. Everything they said for me in my recruitment process has happened. You know, work for what I want. You know, and then everything's gonna come with it. So I really enjoyed my time, man, and I'm ready to keep going, bro.
Yeah.
I'm ready to keep going.
I mean, so far, man, you're having an impressive year. I think that's an important topic to hit on, too. You know, recruiting sometimes can be more than just playing time, more than just what the depth chart looks like, more than going to a good school, right? But trying to make it so your family can come out and see you. I think that's something that definitely gets looked over. What, outside of football and playing, obviously, and the success you've had, what's been your favorite thing about being here at Utah?
Like I told y'all before this, it's the people, man.
Yeah.
The people that I've met over this time, and how many people, you know, care for me. You know, knowing I've been here not longer than 8 months, and just the people that still reach out, just to, like, Utah fans, I feel like are just the best people. When I went to that golf tournament not too long ago, I met some of my boosters and the guys that's really dialed in. I'm like, man, these some good people I'm talking to, and they want to look out, and they want to win too. So definitely people out here just make the place a little better.
Awesome. Cal, do you have some questions?
Oh, of course I do.
I figured.
Well, thank you again for stopping in with the J Train.
Yes,
So we're
sir.
all aboard the J Train. That's his personal podcast. Comes out every other week. I suggest you listen in. Some quality broadcasting there. Your mom said, Wendy, your mother, said that she has to constantly pinch herself as she watches you do amazing things. Do you ever feel guilty that she might cause self-harm by pinching herself so much?
No, I feel like she do it for good cause. So it's probably not too hard.
Okay, that's
But,
good. I have to ask, was it your choice for the intro song on your podcast, the One Park Elysium Auto Lab song? Was that your call?
No, that was actually Lyrics Call.
That was Lyrics Call?
Yeah, Lyrics Call.
It's a
on that
catchy tune, and I liked it, so I had to see if you had an ear for
that
that.
was a lyric.
You grew up in the same house that your family grew up in, your father, correct?
Yes,
You had
sir.
the house. Do you have the same bedroom your father grew up in?
I actually don't. So I have the bedroom that his parents was in. So my dad, from when he was there, he added an add-on and a 2-car garage to the house. So they're at the back in the master bedroom that they didn't have before. So I'm in his parents' room that they were in. So it's kind of surreal because you know, my grandfather I never got to meet. he actually passed away in that room. So I was like,
Wow.
it's just crazy how just home is home, and we never left.
You keep it in the family.
Yeah,
Literally.
keep it in the family.
You took swim lessons at 6 months old. You're a little accelerated against the curve in all areas of life.
6 months.
6 months. You start. Yep. You're boy's a
I'm
little bit
overdue.
behind.
I'm overdue.
You take swim lessons at 6 months. You were ahead academically. You got college credits before you even finished graduated high school. You were graduating from the community college locally. You were very business-minded to the point that you promoted your track coach and the fans to promote and make a business deal with your Pee-wee coach to stop playing tight end and actually start carrying the ball. So I appreciate your business mentality for growth. But I'm wondering if that's why you're not leaning towards a major yet. I've noticed you're undeclared,
There we go.
and it's bad for running backs to lean towards their responsibility in the backfield. You're still undeclared, but you have so many abilities and skills. Is there anything that you're leaning towards currently?
I don't understand why that's still on my bio because I've been declared since after the spring. I'm a kines major, so I don't know why. I don't know why it's not on there yet, but we're gonna definitely have.
You heard it here first.
There's the
You heard it
facts.
here
You heard it
first.
here first.
You heard it here first.
Absolutely. Are you fast?
Pretty fast, man.
Pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
And you ran some track.
Yes, sir.
I understand your dance background led to your long jump success, according to your mother as well, in AAU track.
Yes, sir.
I coached local AAU track and competitive. I
Oh,
competed
man.
in it as a kid. What was your favorite event?
Long jump had to be my favorite, but 100 meter was the more like adrenaline rusher. Like, dang, like you got to get down and go. Especially back home, you knew the guys you were racing, no matter they're from Orlando, Tampa. Like, okay, we seeing them on Saturday when we play them in Little League, and we're gonna see them when we come in high school. We're gonna be 6A, 7A. So the same guys you raced in AAU, you're gonna see them play. And so, I think the long jump had to be the favorite because just knowing like the technique that you go through all week and how coach been talking about it, you're like, yeah, let me go show them up. Especially they don't think especially I was stout back then. So they didn't think I was finna jump. So the devil said the look on their face, they was like, oh yeah, this dude different.
Did you move the family room furniture to get more football practice or more dance practice in when you were a kid?
I
Told you we come with some different questions.
I know it, man. I know. I like them though. I really like them. I kept it most of my things where they were. I used to come home and work on some steps because the coach used to say to visualize in a little league. So but I never really moved furniture at home. I just try to memorize it, and I go right back to the school and go through the routine again back there. But I don't really do it at home.
So it's possible you modeled your running back game after Barry Sanders.
Yes, sir.
Right, very shifty, change of speed and direction. We can see that. Is it possible that you modeled your dance career after Herschel Walker?
My mom always talked about it. She always talked about Herschel dance, and I'm like, okay.
Edmund Swan.
Yeah.
Edmund Swan.
But I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Non-disclosing my mentality when I joined dance because it was at a magnet school. We were K through 8,
Okay.
and so we got to pick our major when we got in middle school. And all the cute girls was a dance. So I was like, shoot, I want to go where the girls at. And so
Smart
that was
man
my
right there.
mentality was first, and then I'm like, well, I kind of like it, I felt a little different when I got on the football field. So I'm like, okay, I might keep it to it, but I actually like dance, and I would carry it over, but it was just like my schedules. But no, to all the youth, if that's something they want to do, I definitely want to give it a try because it definitely helps your game.
Helps, never hinders.
Yeah.
And coaches love recruiting multi-sport athletes. We're talking about somebody that had 6 or 7
Yep.
sports under his belt, including 4.0 honor roll throughout high school, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to say, do you expect to continue that because you are very academically, but it's fun to know that now you've declared a major, although it hasn't been posted on the website.
Yeah, we might need to talk about that. Huh?
And final one more question I've got, or two. 7 touchdowns off 21 carries, 295 yards. That was a highlight for one of your high school games.
Yeah.
Has there ever been an even closer cheat code kind of game? I mean, we're talking 33% touchdowns every touch in that game.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think I was in the zone in that game. Another game I feel like, was stood out to me was when we went over to Georgia and played Lounge on ESPN. That was a big game for me. But no, that game, I don't think nothing in my career really touching that. Just by percentage-wise. And then especially how my running back coach was. Like, you know, we coming to the sideline, he like, go do it again. You know, we usually have a different conversation. Like, what you see is just that game is like, go do it again. And it just kept rolling. And the crazy thing, it was a shootout all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the score was 45-42 to end the game. So it was like, you know, you gotta help us out here.
Yeah.
Usually when running backs or any offensive players having a cheat code game like that, they're looking to pull them out as to not run up the score. But your coach obviously had motivation to say, do it again.
Yeah,
We need it again.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely needed that one.
All right, last question. You've spent some time in Utah. You came up for spring ball. Have you learned and or built a snowman yet?
I have not, and that's what I'm looking forward to. The only thing I did snow-wise, I did go snowmobiling.
Okay.
You've been snowmobiling.
Okay.
But I did make a snowman. I actually did. When my parents came up here in the spring game, we was over in Park City, and we did make a snowman. Not a snowman, but a snow angel.
You did the snow
okay.
angels.
Snow
So now you got to
angel.
go 3D and go
Yeah.
snowman.
Okay.
How do you actually do that, dude?
See,
Snowman?
you
Yeah.
gotta learn.
Technique is everything with building a snowman.
Okay.
Maybe next show we do a snowman tutorial.
I had a teacher
Andy Brown
in
out there building
elementary
snowman.
school.
I'll definitely do that.
She told me how to make a snowball. You put a rock in the middle of it.
Oh.
You cover it. You put the snow on
She
it.
was looking to get you suspended.
Yeah, that's like.
I was like, hold on, I don't think that's how I'm supposed to go.
Oh man.
I don't think it's how I'm supposed
I'm
to
a
go.
first grade teacher.
Okay.
I teach my kids how to make snowman every winter. If you would like some guidance or a tutorial, I'm more than happy to help.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
So shout out here to our message board at ufans.net. You guys are awesome. A can of corn from Greg and SLC. He says, Jaylon, what has been the most surprising thing you have experienced at Utah so far?
The most surprising thing. Most surprising. Man, that's a good question.
When you're not from here, this is a
Yeah.
much different place. We got snow here, as we
A
just
lack of
mentioned.
humidity?
The surprising thing, because like when you come up here, everybody like you ask the coach those questions, like, you know, what am I looking for? So they answer some of the weather stuff.
The amount of
I've really been surprised on the amount of like, you know, when the recruiting, when they say you're the biggest show in town,
Yeah.
you don't know, like when you go out and you just go to the Park Cafe and hey Jaylon, like that is surprising to me because I'm like, man, we college guys, you know, we think we get to the next level, you know notoriety's gonna come, but you know, when I come in town, they know my parents, they know me, and you know, we get in line, they're like, oh, we have your seat already, you don't have to worry about the wait. It's like, wow, like, you know, we really got some pull up here, so that was surprising for me for the most part. And then when it came to weather, the surprising part was in January, those 2 bad weeks. And that wind and it was cold. I was like, yeah, this is a different type of weather. This is a different type of weather.
I got one more question here, approved by Mr. Jordan Wynn.
Yeah.
Jaylon, what would you do if you had 24 hours to live?
What would I do? I'd definitely go skydiving here, especially seeing them always coming down.
Wow.
I gotta go skydiving.
What an answer.
Yeah, good answer.
I'll go skydiving 24 hours. What else I'm gonna do? So how much you think I'm losing with time with a skydive?
I mean, it's 2 hours, I think, if you go skydiving. I think what
If
he
you're
does.
paragliding, like the ones at the point of the mountain where
Yeah.
they're just floating on the breezes. Is that the one you was talking about, or just
Nah,
jumping
I mean,
out?
you wanna
if I
jump
got
out of the
24
plane.
hours,
You
I need
jumping out
that
of the plane.
plane.
Yeah.
I need that hour and 30-minute
Yeah.
adrenaline rush,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I got 20-some more hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably got about 21 hours left after
Yeah.
that.
Ooh, that's a lot of days.
You got a lot of day left. You
That's
got a lot of day left.
And Jaylon, you know, the culture here at Utah, the culture that Coach Witt has cultivated. I mean, you're new here, but what have been your impressions of playing in the Utah football system?
Yeah, it's our biggest thing is being player led, and I think they do a great job finding players. When we talk about, you got Cam Rising as a leader, Clark Phillips, just to continue to go down the line. Like those guys that lead us are bought in, so it's just like a domino effect for the rest of the team. And I really feel like Coach Witt does a great job with just the guys they bring in, because they always, even with, you know, when we talk about offense, it's not about the plays, it's about the players. We got some great dudes on this team, and when they're talking about leading and, you know, guys to, you know, really push, because we go through some hard days, man. I know there's just more days to come. They just fight through adversity like it's nothing. Like a group of guys that going through everything they're going through these past few years. It's like, dang, like y'all still trying to defend this pack. Like it's just crazy, but I'm glad to be here. And Coach Witt just, drill us every day. He's like, y'all, we're not going to become you, you're going to become us. And becoming them has, been one of the best experiences. And I feel like I'm just glad to be here, man. I'm just really happy to be here.
That's awesome.
You won't become you. You will become us.
That's it right there.
Classic.
That's that next man up. You'll become us before we become you.
Yeah.
Family
You
on
need
three.
us more than we need you mentality. That's Witt right there to a T.
So much greater than that.
It's family on three for a reason, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? There's a family atmosphere that's unique, and we keep hearing that from other players.
And that's how they really get their guys, too,
Yep.
man. Like, you come in here and, you got a great team, but the guys that love on you, that's what makes you really successful. When you go to battle with people you love, there ain't nothing better than it.
Yep.
And that feeling goes way back. The
That goes
team
back. That's what I'm
camaraderie,
saying.
It goes
That
back
goes
to
back.
93, 94, greatest team ever.
Here we go.
Shots fired.
Oh,
Yeah.
We might give y'all a run for the money.
Please
Hey.
do. Please do.
We might give y'all a run for the money.
that's awesome.
Well, Jaylon, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank y'all, man.
We love watching you play. We think you're a great addition to the team, and we look forward to your success. I just have to throw out the extra point blessing, Jordan.
Hey, man, it's real. We had Devon on here last week.
Yeah.
Look what happened. That man had a touchdown, some yards, some catches. So you got it. You're gonna have a big one. You're gonna have a big one this weekend.
All right,
It's been going on.
I forgot one question.
Okay.
Oh,
Are you aware of the free kick rule in football?
here we go.
No.
You've never heard of it?
Here we go.
All right.
All right.
No, I'm going to save till later, Stump the Utes.
All right.
But I'll explain. Yep, I'll explain it.
Here we go.
All
Free
right.
kick coming up.
Hey, thank you so much, Jaylon.
Appreciate you, Jaylon.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Extra Point. We have a very special surprise for you. We have Dasia Young and Alissa Pili from the women's basketball team here. Thank you so much for coming on, you two.
Thank you.
It's such a privilege, really. It's a pleasure for us. Women's basketball is really growing leaps and bounds recently, and we're so proud of our women Utes. And I think that there's a lot to talk about here. We'll do a shorter segment, but what I will say is that a big part of what we believe here at Ute Fans is we want to give all the athletes exposure, both in men's and women's sports. So we think this is so important that we elevate women's sports at the U, especially because you guys are awesome. And you've got a big season coming up. You're coming off another big season last year. So, Jordan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean,
Jump into this.
I think obviously, women's sports deserves a spotlight. That probably hasn't been there in quite some time. It's obviously come a long way, but with the success you all had last year, and it is important. And like Andy mentioned, we want to make sure we highlight all athletics for the university. And so, just diving right in here, you guys can each take a couple minutes, but just walk us through what you guys are looking forward to this season, and kind of give us an outlook as to what the team looks like.
I know for sure that this year will be a year to prove to people that, it wasn't a fluke. I think when we were playing during the season, a lot of people were ready for us to get off that peak and just crash down, but we didn't. We just kept going, and I feel like this year I'm really excited just to keep proving our point, playing how we play, winning games, and having fun while doing it. So I think
Love
that's what I'm ready for the most.
Yeah.
I think something I'm most excited for is just getting to play with these new players and with Coach Lynn and these great coaches. And I think the biggest thing is the culture and the identity of the team. I think is something that's really new to me, and it's something I've enjoyed just being around. So I'm super excited to get to play with these girls and the coaches. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think on that note, and we talk a lot about culture here. It's different here in Utah. We do something a little bit different, and I hear nothing but amazing things about Coach Roberts. Just an incredible person and doing an amazing job, obviously, and bringing you guys on. So what I was wondering is, you're both transfers to the University of Utah. Obviously, you played at USC for 3 seasons, and Dasia from Tennessee, right? Mid-Tennessee?
No, UT Martin.
UT Martin, excuse me. So could you just walk us through briefly, what made you choose to come to the University of Utah?
for me, we went through a lot of coaching changes at USC, so it was something really new to me. And me personally, I just felt like I didn't fit with that kind of coaching style and that program that came to USC. So I decided to, step out of my comfort zone and, enter the transfer portal. And fortunately, Coach Lynn contacted me. It was one of the teams that contacted me, and so I think, again, the biggest thing was just the culture and the type of coach that Coach Lynn is that really pulled me into come and commit here. I think she's very real. She's going to tell you how it is, and I love that. Like, I was raised around that, so it's something that really pushes and motivates me to be better. And, that's
Awesome. That's awesome. Dasia?
So I transferred last year, and I was at a mid D1 school in Tennessee. So, like, to play in the Pac-12, I never would have thought. I was really grateful. It was like they talked to me like at the last minute, like right before I was about to commit to this other school, and she was just like, "Hey, like I'm gonna tell you the truth, like, cause they didn't have like a really good season the year that I was coming in." She's like, "Don't look at the record, just like look at what I did in the past, blah blah blah." And like Alissa said, I like how she talked to me, like, cause I just left a coach, like we were a winning program, won conference, the 2 years that I was there, and I'm like, I just wanted to be around a coach that I liked, that I could honestly play hard for. It's easier to play hard for a coach when you like them. So she just drew me in with her personality.
Yeah.
And it's just been history ever since. I'm glad I came here.
That's awesome. I got one last question, then we'll turn it over to Cal for some really unique questions.
I don't have many.
So we asked Jaylon Glover this earlier, and I think it's important to highlight why athletes come here. But as you guys have been here, outside of basketball and athletics, what has been the most surprising thing just about being in the state of Utah? Like, what shocked you, right? We all have visions of Utah, right? I'm from Southern California. I had no clue what it was going to be like when I showed up here. What has been maybe the most pleasant surprise that you didn't think was going to happen and you showed up and you were like, wow, this is actually really cool?
I would say just the bond that I have with the girls, like already just coming in like as a new transfer, and just like the people I'm surrounded by is the biggest thing that was a difference for me. Utah is way different than LA. It's a lot less busy, and to me, it really like felt like I was back home in Anchorage, but just like kind of a bigger scene.
Yeah.
But I mean, it reminds me of home, so that's something I really like too.
Awesome.
Cool.
I would say, with me being from the South,
Yeah.
a lot of people, like, you hear that saying Southern charm and, like, all that. People down south are mean. And when I got here, I knew, like, when I committed, everybody was like, you know what's in Utah? I was like, what? They were like, Mormon. Like, I had never heard of that. I don't know what that is. So I'm thinking it's like an animal or something, and it's just a person. But, like, I get here, everybody's so sweet. Everybody's nice. I never had, like, any interactions with somebody where, like, it's better than home. I'm not going to lie.
That's awesome.
The people here are nicer. They're friendly.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, no bad word.
That's what Jaylon said the same
Yeah,
thing.
he did.
People,
He did.
the people here.
Yeah, down south, people are just mean.
And ladies and gentlemen, Cal
Here we
Beck.
go. Drum roll for Cal's questions.
Oh, pshaw. So, jersey number 34.
Yeah.
Did you get to pick that?
I did, but not really, but yes.
Any relevance behind the number 34?
Yes, it's from my dad. My dad passed in 2019, and I was number 11, but Brenna had it. So I was like, okay. So I was like, maybe I knew I had to get another number, and that number was available, and I just wanted to wear it in his honor, just play for him. It was a big step for me. I was scared going from mid D1 to Pac-12, and I felt like having that number was like him being there with me because he played too. He was really good. So
And we love having you in the pack.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
do.
Thank you
Yes,
for
we
coming.
do.
thank you.
Anchorage, that's a big backyard.
Sure.
I'm sure you're very versed in many outdoor activities. Is there one that is your favorite?
Me and my family will go camping every summer. Memorial Day weekend is our first camping trip of every year, and it's the biggest one. So we bring all our family out, but it's more of like glamping, I would say. We got our RVs, and we got all our toys, our side-by-sides and four-wheelers, so it's a real fun time out
That's
there.
awesome.
Tennessee, obviously Anchorage, you are versed. Have you learned and or built a snowman yet?
I did in Tennessee when we had like this much snow, like a little inch
Little
of snow.
figurine
Yeah,
snowman.
and we like got the whole team together. We were like, push the snow to the middle. And it was a horrible snowman. I'm not going to lie, but it was fun.
You may need to give her some pointers.
Yeah, I got it.
So there is a member of your family that suits up a chin strap for SC. So is it safe to say that you are the smartest child in the family that you've now transferred to
Here
you?
we go.
Shots fired again.
Shoot, I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
And we absolutely love having you here.
Yeah.
My final question, it's the 50-year anniversary of Title IX.
That's right.
And we celebrated a big soiree and gala on Friday. You guys have obviously grown up in a big push towards professionalism of women's sports. The WNBA is starting to get ground and get traction, more media, more bigger contracts. You have Dennis Rodman's daughter sign the biggest professional women's contract in sports history, playing professional soccer. Are we there yet?
No.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, no.
But like I said, I think just in the time we've been playing sports, it's just been such a big difference and a big push now, especially just to get women's sports out there and, you know, seen and fight for equality and all that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like what Liz said, because if at the end of the day, if it came down to a men's game and a women's game, they'll probably still pick the men's just because they can dunk the ball. Some of us can
It's
actually.
changing. Yes.
That's a
go.
very
Hey, it
interesting
is.
point
Hey.
because the difference mainly for me seeing the men's and the women's game is the men play above the rim. And that athleticism can hide a lack of fundamentals. You watch
absolutely right.
female ball,
Cal,
and
man, tell them, Cal.
you're on point. Your passes, your picks, your plays. Like, it is a team effort. It's not one Kevin Durant dragging
Yeah.
everybody through the playoffs with him. Y'all contribute and have to be counting on each other. And you get a sense of a closer, tight-knit community and team because you've got to know your six is covered by your teammate.
Yeah.
exactly.
I would argue the women's game is moving to above the rim anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They're so, I mean,
Yeah.
holy smokes.
We got a freshman who can like
Who could jam?
who can
Yeah.
like kind
She
of
get
dunk the
up
ball.
there.
A little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So like once people, I wish everybody thought like you, because that was just like it. That was mic drop. Like come on now. If you want to see a good team
Yeah.
sport, us.
Yeah.
Us.
You fans, man, let's get out there. Let's get
Yeah.
out there and
Come
support.
on out.
One final
Yeah.
childhood hero growing up. Who did you aspire to become?
Oh, that's so
There we
hard.
go with Cal. There we go with Cal's questions.
Childhood hero. To be honest, can I like reverse it? Like, I didn't have a hero. I just knew what I didn't want to do and who I didn't want to be like learning from. Being the youngest and being like my mom being a single parent, I knew what I had to do. Like I knew from people where I was from how they failed and what they did. So I just wanted to like reverse that.
Don't be a statistic.
Yeah, that's exactly. I really didn't have a hero.
You were your own.
I was just gonna say you were your own.
Yeah, I knew I had to switch it up.
Like that. Yeah, I mean, growing up, it was always I have a lot of siblings, so it was always just I was watching their sports. I was never really watching professionally.
7, correct?
I think.
There's 9 of us together. But yeah, so I would really just be, you know, and I played football too, so I was on the field with my brother, and then we were just always watching each other. So I think just watching my siblings and how my dad brought us up, how he pushed us in our competitions, like it was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, like some of the stuff people would probably look at as crazy for him doing, but you know I'm so grateful for that. And my dad is probably the person I just looked up to all the time, and somebody who, when he told me he was proud of me, like I felt it for real, because I knew I did good if he told me he was proud of me. But yeah, I would say my dad.
It's fantastic.
Awesome. It's so good to have you guys on. And yeah, obviously 50 years since Title IX. We've come a long way, but there's a long way to go.
A lot to do still.
Yeah,
100%.
very obviously. So, Alissa, we're so glad that you feel kind of like you're at home here, that you love being on the Utes. And Dasia, you're the real deal. You belong in the Pac-12.
Thank you.
We're so
Thank
grateful
you.
for your
Yeah.
contributions, and you belong here. So, with that said, we'll move on to our next segment.
They open up at October 27th against Nazareth, correct?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. We do.
That's right.
That's right.
We'll
Come
go to
to
a
a
lot of
game.
games this year, guys.
Yes.
So
Let's get out there, you
Ute
fans.
fans.
Let's get out there.
let's do it.
Yep.
All right, we'll move on to our next segment.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
What do you think of that toast, Jordan?
The tomato jam goat cheese combo. Would never think of it. Mind blowing.
And if you like smoked salmon, you got to get to Public today to try this lox toast. It's amazing. It's off the chain.
Kyle, how's that avocado toast?
Leave me alone. I'm busy.
Oh man,
Yeah, we figured.
It's that good.
fantastic.
Come down to Public to try their coffee or their great food any day. Hey, Ute fans, welcome back to The Extra Point. I'm Andy Brown, joined here with Poinsettia Bowl MVP Jordan Wynn and Freedom Bowl MVP Cal Beck. So we got a game coming up this next week after a big win against Oregon State at home. We're going down to L.A. to the Rose Bowl.
Familiar place.
Yeah, familiar place. We were kind of just there, right, to take on UCLA. UCLA just took care of business against UW in the Rose Bowl last Friday. They won, I think, 40-32.
Yep.
They've got this senior redshirt quarterback who's looking pretty good.
Super senior.
But let's preview this game for the Ute fan faithful and anyone else who's watching. What do you guys think going into this game against UCLA? Cal.
I don't think much. UCLA is good in some areas. They're struggling in some others. You look at their track record, they've played 3 teams that have 4 or 5 names in their title, being like South Appalachian State Tech, Disneyland.
Directional schools.
That-
Never,
right,
you know.
directional schools. No offense, Northwestern. UCLA is going to be tough down in the Rose Bowl. That's a given. Any team on the road in the Pac-12 is going to be tough.
Yep.
I don't feel that this is going to be a challenge for any one of our specific position groups. I feel that we will be well prepared. Our motivation is there. Some people may consider this perhaps a trap game. I do not think that USC looming over the next weekend is going to get in the way of the
Yeah.
focus against UCLA,
Yeah.
especially because the last time we were in the stadium, we left some unfinished business,
Yep.
and there's going to be a statement made when we go back on Saturday.
Yeah, I think UCLA will be a top 25 team after their win Friday night when the AP poll comes out. Like you mentioned, veteran guy at the helm in DTR, been there forever. Good arm, accurate passer, can make plays with his feet. They run the football, typical Chip Kelly. They're going to play fast. They're going to run the ball. Defensively, I think they're a little bit of a question mark. You know, they had the 2 turnovers. I would venture to say opportunistic as a defense. They still give up 32 points. A matchup that's a good matchup. I mean, look, again, anyone can beat anybody in this league. You certainly can't overlook anybody, UCLA included. But the way that we're trending, the way that we run the football, play defense, I'm looking forward to the matchup, and I think it'll be a good look for Ute fans to see how Morgan Scalley and company have gone back to the drawing board after the Florida game, playing a guy who can run around and make plays with his feet, and put that into place this week against UCLA and their guy that can move around, extend the play. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
The battle in the trenches is going to be a little interesting to keep note of as well, because my former teammate, Chad Kahaha, is the defensive line coach at UCLA. So I know
Very
that
familiar.
Yes,
Yeah.
very familiar with
Yep.
the program. A great coach, great guy. He's been around the Pac-12 with much success.
Yep.
So I know that he's taking this game with a personal interest
Yep.
as well. He's always a great motivator for his team, and the game is always one up front.
Yep.
So it's going
Always.
to be easy to gauge right off the bat who wants it more, at least in the trenches.
Yep.
So going into this game against UCLA, what do you think the spread looks like? I just have to ask. Is UCLA going to be favored at home, being 5-0?
No.
Probably not, huh?
I bet Utes
Utes by
7 to 10, I think.
7 to 10 points for.
Would be my guess if
yeah.
I was a handicapper.
Yeah.
Utes minus 7 to 10. I don't
I'm
know.
not a gambling man, so I'd put it about 5 3/4 points.
Well,
I like that.
I'll bet on that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So we'll see what Utah does against UCLA. Obviously, we've had some great games with
Yeah.
them. The one I was thinking about this morning was in 2014, where they were ranked 8th, and we went in there, and Kendall Thompson and
Wow.
Devontae Booker led
Yeah.
us to victory.
Yep.
Utes lore right here, right,
Hey,
Jordan?
there you go. Hey, man.
So
Super fan. Andy Brown.
You remember
here.
that game.
Andy knows all.
So anyway, let's.
It's a great transition into our stump.
Well, I was about to
you
say.
know?
I was about to say. I mean, this is what you've all been waiting for. I know.
I've been.
it's Stump-
This has been keeping me up late at night this
Stump
week
the
about what
Utes.
questions coming my way.
Yeah, Stump the Utes. Stump Jordan win. We'll start with Jordan actually this week. So Clark Phillips had 3 picks in Utah's game against Oregon State. Who was the last Ute to record 3 picks in one game?
Yeah, this is one I actually know, you fans. Shout out to my good friend Rojo, Robert Johnson, 2009, Colorado State.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah,
Here's a fun fact about that game. Go back and watch the tape of that game. We were down. I don't remember the exact score.
By 2 scores.
By 2. We
Yeah.
were down. Okay, going even further back. I wasn't playing yet. Terrence Kane was still playing. We walk out of the tunnel. I think with wind chill at kickoff, it was -3 in Fort Collins. I walk out thinking I'm, a 19-year-old hot shot freshman, short sleeves. I'm looking at Witt. This ain't cold. This is nothing. We go into the 4th and we're down. Witt cut the heaters on the sideline.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Said, we're done with the
Yeah.
heaters. This isn't cold. Next thing you know, Rojo has 3 picks. We end up winning the football game. But that was it. That was the last time. You know, it's another fun fact. Clark Phillips, that was the 6th time a Utah player has had 3 interceptions.
3 picks.
Really, I did not know
The
that.
6th time. I looked it up because last time I was like, man, I know Rojo did it. How many other can't have happened that many other times? 6 other times.
Yeah. Well.
Great question.
I got a question here for Mr. Cal Beck from LA Ute on UteFans.net. Who holds the record for most receptions all time at the U?
The man I took the honor of locking down in defensive practice every single day, that would be Kevin Dyson.
How was that
Locked him
matchup?
down?
How was that?
Locked him down.
How was that matchup daily?
It was exciting. It was
Probably, you had
exhilarating.
to- you had
There came
to-
a point when me and KD, because he was a year ahead of me, he
Yeah.
was a redshirt freshman, and we approached each other, and it was somewhat of, if we are going to get better, we are going to need to rely on each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I need speed. I need height. You need somebody that can keep up with you downfield.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that we would stay locked on, but
Sure.
I particularly took some responsibility of being not only prepared for my defensive squad, but for the massive amount of talented wide receivers that we had at Utah as well.
That's a pack your lunch pail, bring your hard hat day.
No
You versus
kidding.
KD every day.
No kidding.
That was one-on-ones was
Every day.
you look
That's
forward
bringing.
to it.
You better pack your lunch because
You
I'm
look
coming
forward to
today.
it.
Yeah.
And I got a question for all of us here from UFans.net's legendary message board, Mr. New Bomb Turk. You know who you are. Utah has 2 former players that are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I know one.
Who are they?
I know Larry.
The punter, the pitcher
know
that's
he
up
is.
in the hallway in
I know-
the facility.
I know
I did
he
not
is.
know that.
I know
Yeah.
he is.
He's
I
got
don't
that-
know the second.
Speedy.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Cal.
Take that, New Bomb
Mike-
Turk. You tried to stump us.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Not happening this week.
So-
Speedy.
So anyway, guys, it's been a great show today. Shout out to Jaylon Glover. Obviously, we were giving you a blessing
Oh,
for
no,
next
hold on.
week.
I got some stump y'all questions.
Okay,
Oh,
stump
Cal
us.
brought
Yeah.
some.
Quick,
Oh, boy.
If I was to say that there was a athletic squad that had 2 conference freshmen, all conference freshmen, like of the year, there were 5 Gatorade players of the year in their each individual states, 3 all-time scoring leaders, record setters in their states. Also, 3 all-freshman conference contributors and 1 all-conference Pac-12 performer. Do you think you would know which squad I'm speaking of?
No, we don't
And
know.
it's not our number 11 cross-country Utes.
Yeah.
Way to go, ladies. I'm speaking of the women's basketball team.
incredible.
There is an immense amount of talent
Yeah.
and
Loaded.
potential
Yes.
on that squad. and
3 state all time.
all time.
Not like just their year.
Right.
Good.
All time
time.
in their state.
Good job
all time.
recruiting there, Lynn.
My final question is, do you guys know of the free kick rule in football?
Oh, yeah. That's
I do.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Do you know it?
I've been briefed on it a little. Yeah.
Because who did it? One of the Harbaugh brothers did it in a game.
You remember that?
It's after a safety. I believe.
Almost.
It's not after a safety. I thought it was after a safety. You have the right to move the ball to take 1 free kick.
You're close. You're
I'm
close.
I'm right there.
So Cottonwood High School, my alma mater, is down by 2 points against Jordan High School on Friday night. Jordan is punting out of their end zone. Coach Casey Miller at Cottonwood calls a timeout and tells the referee, I am sending 3 returners back to fair catch the ball and invoke
That's right.
the free
After
kick
a fair
rule.
catch. That's right.
So the
That's
rule
right.
is, after any kick in football, if you fair catch it, you get a non-contested field goal attempt from that spot. Jordan punts it out. They fair catch it at the 36.
That's right.
He sends out the kickoff team. He kicks it off the kicking tee.
That's right.
Meanwhile, the Jordan coaches are livid because they're like, what do you mean we can't contest it?
Nope.
He tells his kickoff personnel, just kick it straight. He drills it, non-contested. Cottonwood wins by 1.
There you go.
That's awesome, Cal.
It's
Thank-
more
thank
more
you.
of the extra point blessing. I brought it up
I-
with the inductions to Crimson Club with House Connect being a Cottonwood
There you
Colt.
go.
And here we are again. So keep rolling, boys. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Cal. And yeah, great show today. Shout out to the women's basketball team, of course. You guys are awesome. Alissa Pili, Dasia Young. We're looking forward to you making big things happen on the court this season, and we're going to be at games. We'll be at the games watching you.
You fans, let's get out there.
Yeah,
support
absolutely.
our youths.
And
Ute Nation is everyone.
and special thanks to Jaylon Glover. You're awesome for showing up.
Yep.
We look forward to seeing what you do next week against UCLA. With that said, we are going to move on to our next episode next week.
Go
Go
Utes.
Utes.
And you're watching the show, The Extra Point, put on by ufans.net and sponsored by, I'm going to do it one more time. I like
You had it. You had it. Why do you stop
I
yourself?
like
You
what
have
I'm
it.
trying to do here.
You have it. You like
Sounds
have
like
it
I'm impressed.
going, and out of nowhere, you're like,
I know what it's like to, when
Yeah, yeah.
you mess up your lines.
Ripcord.
No,
Okay.
I understand where it is though. It's like you like slip up like
Just a little, and
little bit.
it's like, okay, 3, 2, 1.